it's impossible to escape. We can say how we don't want to have these celebrity crushes and things like that, but we're always going to have some sort of parasocial relationship with somebody because we just simply relate on a certain aspect of life.
Of course.
And it's funny because when I was making this script, I was thinking about how back in the day we used to watch The Price is Right. And every once in a while, you always find yourself cheering for the black person on The Price is Right. I'm like, I don't know this person whatsoever, but I'm like, you know what? My man.
Yeah, come on. No. What are you doing?
It is not $7.99.
There's no way. God dang.
It's basically a one-sided relationship where one person's putting in energy or affection for somebody else and they just kind of don't know that they exist.
Wow. I think a lot of people have been through it or going through that right now.
So kind of like you and The Rock.
Oh my God. That was good. Well played. If the directors themselves have no beef,
what are you doing?
Exactly. They didn't ask you to go do this, to go find, James Gunn and yell at him and do that. Nor is James Gunn saying, hey, go attack the Snyder fans. Go do it.
Go sabotage them,
Exactly. Go troll them mercilessly online. Do it.
But that's the thing. And here we are back on parasocial relationships because fan bases or a lot of people will weaponize their fan base to take down other people. It's like, you know what? This person is disagreeing. He's the opposition. Go mass report or mass dislike his shit.
Absolutely.
And get his stuff demonetized, canceled, banned, whatever. And
I mean, hopefully they're not. I'm sure people are doing that.
But people are doing that. People are doing it 100%. You. Whew.
What is wrong with you? This is your king?
Yeah.
This is your king?
But,
he's telling you go destroy others.
This is different because the king's not calling the order. The fans
That's
are
what
just
I'm saying.
doing
They are. They're pictured together. They say, "Hey, we're gonna work on future things together, guys. We might not have anything planned." So you act like Zack Snyder's not busy doing his own thing anyway.
Right.
You act like James. They all have separate projects. That are we gonna start attacking Spielberg or something next? Most likely not, because people love that dude.
Would you say that fandoms to like fictional characters, like TV show characters, anime characters, to the extreme would be considered some sort of parasocial relationship? Because for one, the character is not real, but people get so invested in the TV show that if they're not written a certain way or if the story doesn't go the way that they want it, then they take offense to that. They get upset.
Absolutely, because you got to think. I think people start associating their identities with these characters.
Here's one that might get us canceled.
Oh, okay.
Is the belief in God a parasocial relationship? Because people would say that, well, he knows you exist, but others would say that he doesn't know that you exist. And people will go to blows and take over and conquer countries and worlds just because of it.
For religion, yeah, you're right. You could be seen as that as well.
All right, we are here. My name is Malcolm Eugene.
Will Robertson here.
Today we're going to touch on the dark parts of the internet as it relates to parasocial relationships.
Clarification.
Intro. So basically, what is a parasocial relationship? It's basically a one-sided relationship where one person's putting in energy or affection for somebody else and they just kind of don't know that they exist.
Wow. I think a lot of people have been through it or going through that right now.
So kind of like you and The Rock.
Right. Other than The Rock, that made news when The Rock stopped following them. On top of that, or we get somebody like The Rock. Oh my God. That was good. Well played. Wow, look at that.
But it's crazy because during like 2020 we had this whole thing of like social isolation, so a lot of people built up online audiences and platforms to where they have like these big followings now, and being able to manage that, a lot of people don't know how to do that or set those types of boundaries. But when it comes to parasocial relationships, it becomes extremely unhealthy for the followers who don't know where those boundaries start and where they end.
Gotcha. Okay.
There are some upsides to it. It's all about forging bonds, meeting people, meeting friends, making those kind of connections. But obviously there's a mental health thing to it.
I'm sure. The networking and the collaborations and the experiences you have could be all positive outlooks on it,
right? But
outcomes of it.
But people get so attached to them. That's the problem, though, because if you look at it to a fault that people would like jump off of a bridge for these people. Look at the red pill community. Look at some of these OnlyFans models, some of these TikTokers, influencers. A lot of these people have like no credibility in some things that they talk about, but a lot of people take to heart what they say and they get so attached like they're related or something.
Well, I think it's because when these people, which I mean, obviously during 2020, even some of these people prior to that put in work, not depending, no matter what their subject matter is, no matter how you feel about it or think about what they say, most of these people have legitimately been putting in work for years. So what they did is these people basically checked on these people daily or checked in with them constantly for years.
Right.
So even though they've never met this person, never actually had a physical conversation, let alone a conversation online,
right,
they feel as if they're connected to them. Right. And that's what good influencing comes from. It's influencing people and make people feel like they're a part of you, even though they're not.
Well, I would say it's okay. So I would say it's been around for a while because there's always like celebrity culture when you talk about it. So it's always been like a fan celebrity type of power dynamic when it comes to these types of relationships.
Pedestalizing a lot of people.
So it's just more relatable because these people aren't celebrities. They're like people who are like us who made it big on the internet somehow or some way.
So it gives you more them that sense of, well, they're similar to me because I've seen them start with 20, 30, 100 people.
Right.
And now they have tens of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. Right. And I was there and I know this person, this is who they are. So when someone says anything ill about them, or when someone decides to be argumentative about them, or when someone says anything that remotely I see as being damaging to the character, I'm going to defend them with my life.
Speaking of character.
Here we go.
I have a question for you. Okay. So, who was your first celebrity crush?
I mean, the list goes on, man. From, Power Rangers to Topanga to...
Oh, Topanga, yeah. Parasocial relationship.
It was.
And 100%, because they don't know who the hell you are.
No, they don't.
And some people take it to the extreme and they have shrines to these people or had shrines to these people.
Like Helga did to Arnold, I remember.
Yeah. It gets really wild when you think about it. But you can think of it as it starts as a high school crush.
Of course, yeah.
But when it starts becoming an obsession, then it really becomes a place of unhealthy...
I mean, you got to think people create fan pages for these people. This is not the actual whoever, but this is a fan page dedicated to them, and it's like they become almost like they're like their own personal Wikipedia.
Right.
Like, no, this isn't legitimate. No, I saw it on so and so's fan page because they do it. Or you get people like who like Jason, whatever his name is, who follows celebrities, who interviews and does that. That's their job, is gossip and focusing on this group. It's
so
just
tabloids,
pretty much, and it's just like putting your energy into. I'm not saying he or anybody else doesn't do their own thing. It's just like putting your energy into so many other people, their lives, their interactions. It's just, I don't know. It seemed like it would be just so boring and overwhelming.
Would you say that fandoms to like fictional characters, like TV show characters, anime characters, to the extreme would be considered some sort of parasocial relationship? Because for one, the character is not real, but people get so invested in the TV show that if they're not written a certain way or if the story doesn't go the way that they want it, then they take offense to that. They get upset
absolutely, because you got to think. I think people start associating their identities with these characters.
Right.
They look at cosplay. What is cosplay? It's essentially changing who you are, picking up mannerisms, characteristics, and clothing, the look, and becoming something that you are. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's perfectly fine, but you become this character. You're able to be free flowing. Some people find it more. That's why some people don't even take off their cosplay. Sometimes people do it all year round.
Yeah,
it's who they are. They've associated. They don't have. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have an identity, but maybe they, in a way, they don't, because especially if they do a lot of different cosplays, because that's different walks, talks, mannerisms.
People are really good at it too.
And I'm not gonna take it away from that. It's remarkable. I mean, if I had half that talent to do that kind of stuff, it's incredible. But I mean, especially if you don't know who you are, and you can. It's cool that you can do all these characters, but if you don't know who you are yourself and what you.
Well, sometimes, so I think that example is okay, but I feel like a lot of people who do that, they have a good separation between them and the character. The problem would be between the fans who adore the character and the cosplayer.
Okay.
So here's one that might get us canceled. Is the belief in God a parasocial relationship? Because people would say that, well, he knows you exist, but others would say that he doesn't know that you exist. And people will go to blows and take over and conquer countries and worlds just because of it.
For religion, yeah, you're right. You could be seen as that as well. I agree. But I think that's more towards, and it could be seen as maybe an extremism of the religion or of that kind of thing. Because there's people who have, like, I have faith in something, but not to a point to where I'm like, do I believe there's some omnipotent being that's always watching and whatever?
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe there is, but to believe that he's just watching me and everything I'm doing,
right?
That'd be foolish to think. To think just that he knows me this well,
right.
or whatever. Like, there's so many people on the planet. There's other people who could use more help.
Yeah.
Who maybe deserve more.
He's omnipotent, so he sees all.
I get it. I know. But there's a difference between omnipotent and omnipresent. There's differences. Right. So it's like, I don't know if it encompasses all of it. I don't know. I'm not really into religion like that. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, there's a extreme to all of it, like you said. But, well, I guess kind of like they're stalking to the point that people have kidnapped people before, sometimes even murdered people in the extreme sense.
If I can't have you, nobody can.
So let's talk about how the lack of boundaries, and we've mentioned this in previous video about boundaries, but now we're talking about the lack of boundaries as it relates to parasocial relationships and how that is highly monetized. So basically, you have these influencers who build up these platforms either on YouTube, Twitch, whatever, and then they will end their video and say, you know what, come join my Discord, have conversations with me. And they have this community where a lot of people are there and they feel like they're closer to that person. And maybe they are, maybe they're not. But it's mainly for financial gain, especially when you look at it from the standpoint of OnlyFans or Patreon.
Yeah, it's insane, a lot of these. And it is not just women doing it. There are plenty of guys, especially the guys who are on YouTube who are big and have a massive following. Discord, Twitch, hey, they drop their video or whatever it is, and then boom, hey, join me on, like you're saying, on Discord, Steam, whatever. I'm going to do some gaming. We're going to do some late night. We're going to watch a movie. There's
a whole movie.
They will watch a movie you have seen numerous times, but because he's there and there's other people chatting, it makes it relatable. And right. it's good on them. And they pause it. They have conversations during the movie and stuff. It's fascinating. Something you were going to do on your own.
Right.
You're bringing all these people along, sometimes thousands of people along.
Right.
People are tipping you $1, $5, $20. That one time, I remember during 2020, we were watching what's his name, and he was telling them not to give him money,
and they were giving him money,
because it plays into his character, and it was a reverse kind of psychology thing. And he was being so animated and so and being so over the top about it,
right,
that it played even more into it. He was, I'm gonna block you, I'm gonna block this, and I'm like, this dude. I mean, just in the 10 minutes we watched, I mean, he had to make at least $500, and that doesn't include the stream itself or anything else.
Like, I don't think I've ever sent a streamer money.
Me neither.
Like, I've never seen it. Like, I understand supporting people,
but I could comment and do different things like that. I don't have to give you money per se. If you do that, that's wonderful.
But people want their comment to be seen though. They want their comment to be read on stream.
And I get that, but even if they read it, hey, Squeaky Duck 42 donated $20. Appreciate you, champ.
What'd he say?
So somebody, Squeaky Duck 82. I like that. I'm gonna go find their social media. I'm gonna go. No one's doing that.
No one's doing that.
It's a weird psychology. You're right. It's a relationship, because that person who you maybe not always idolize, but that person you believe in and go to for knowledge, mm-hmm. for politics.
They have credibility.
Of course, that's who you're looking to. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna support them in any way possible.
So here's one: people who are in a relationship, an actual real life relationship.
Okay.
Is it possible for the relationship down the line to then become parasocial? So that means that, say, one partner loses interest, but they don't really pull out of the relationship, so they just kind of pull back emotionally. They end up going out, being infidelity or practicing infidelity and just doing all these things. I call it a toxic relationship, but I can see it as being more of a parasocial relationship because the other party, they don't want to leave.
Well, they're still vested in the relationship. They're still vested in the partnership, whatever you want to call it. Domestic partnership, whatever, whatever label you want to throw on it. Yeah, it happens all the time. I've been there. A lot of people have been there. Where you should have left sooner than that, or they should have left sooner than that, or they even tell you, I've been told, hey, you need to let it go, walk away from this by multiple people. Even the individual has said, hey, walk away from it. But even though I know that they were just taking from me, I was so used to that happening because it gives me a sense of being needed. That's what it is. You feel needed. You feel wanted. You feel like what you're doing matters to the other person. So even though you know that it's kind of almost like a symbiotic like relationship, like they're just completely taking and not even really giving it. And I know, and they checked out emotionally, physically.
Right.
Psychologically, they weren't there. They would be there physically.
Right.
But and pretend like a little bit like they care, but they didn't really. But I knew better. But I think even in situations like that, the other person, I think unless the person is that great of a sociopath,
right,
that great at manipulating and coercing people, most of the time you know when there's something that you may not know the specific day, but you know when a week has gone by, 2 weeks.
You would be surprised.
Really?
You would be highly surprised.
Really?
But even if you go back to still on the topic of relationships in general, Twitch streamers, female Twitch streamers in general, they can be in relationships, but they will never mention it. Not that they should. It's no one's business other than their own. But on purpose, they won't mention it because as soon as they mention it on stream, then they lose their male following drastically.
Absolutely. So you keep this illusion, this, whatever, that you're this single, whatever character, personality, persona, if you present it to them, because you're right, it loses the mystique. It loses that kind of I guess maybe if I talk to her,
I have a chance. I'll become a moderator. Because I know people who have done stuff like that and who have gotten in emotional trouble because of their level of attachment to online figures.
That's deeper issues though too.
No, obviously. I mean, it's a mental health thing.
But is it on that individual when they know that these people are starting to cross the line and they know it's making them uncomfortable? I get it. You have a following. I get that you've got a business to run.
And they keep sending money.
Exactly. When do you say, hey, thank you, but this has got to stop?
And we'll have to talk about this in part 2 because I want to get somebody on to talk about their experience. But I want to talk about basically, do social media influencers have a social responsibility when it comes to upholding these boundaries? Because I can understand making all this money from people, but they're sending money because they feel like they have a chance or they want something from you.
Well, they're garnering your attention. They want your attention. I give you this. It's I'm giving you money. I should receive some type of compensation for it. There's an investment into it. Right. So not just a shout out, a date or whatever it may be.
It's just like if you follow anybody on YouTube and they don't post for a while. Say they used to post consistently for 3 or 4 years, and then they stopped posting for an entire year. Something came up in their life. Yeah. People leave. People change.
Of course.
But a lot of people, they get upset. Like, why weren't you here? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, these are actual human beings. They have lives. They have things that come up in life. People don't know that boundary between the online character they're playing, if they're playing a character, and them actually being a down-to-earth human being.
Yeah, and I've seen, some of them will let somebody, especially if they don't post for a week or 2, like you're saying, if they post, 2 or 3 videos a day or something like that, and they go hard, and they take it, sabbatical for a month or whatever. Yeah. Some of them are pretty decent about saying something. I've heard of that. They'll send something on their social media or drop it on the YouTube post or on there and say, hey, I got some family stuff, got some personal things going on. I appreciate you guys asking and wondering what's going on. I appreciate all the support, but hey, this is what's going on. So, I mean, even if you were to, is it contingent upon the person who has the social media, page, per se, to let people know so they don't get to that point? Because some people, I get it, some people are obsessive and it does get a little weird and dark, but some people legitimately do find what they enjoy your content. They take a lot from it. You learn, you teach it.
You're invested in it, Exactly. You develop trust, which is really huge with this kind of thing. So I would say, it's a part of your social responsibility. If it's not necessarily your audience's business what you're going through.
Of course, you don't have to give details, specifics.
If you have to step away, you have to step away. And if people don't understand that, then they are invested for the wrong reasons because they don't respect you as an individual, as a human being. Other than that, parasocial relationships are something to behold, and it is a spectrum. I believe it's impossible to escape. We can say how we don't want to have these celebrity crushes and things like that, but we're always going to have some sort of parasocial relationship with somebody because we just simply relate on a certain aspect of life.
Of course.
And it's funny because when I was making this script, I was thinking about how back in the day we used to watch The Price is Right. And every once in a while, you always find yourself cheering for the black person on The Price is Right. I'm like, I don't know this person whatsoever, but I'm like, you know what? My man.
Yeah, come on. No. What are you doing?
It is not $7.99.
There's no way. God dang.
No, but it's wild.
It's good recall, yeah.
But yeah, there's gonna be a part 2 to this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and of course, yeah, we'll let you know when that's coming out. Other than that, my name is Malcolm Eugene.
Will Robertson here.
We are outro.